Burnout and Idolon is becoming more and more rampant in the endgame community. It isn't all necessarily about the recent Caverns update, but it all circles back to monetization and pay to win. Let's talk about it. Hey you, before the video starts, consider dropping a like, a comment, and maybe consider subscribing. This really does help the channel grow. On to the video. This video is a message to those who are quite devoted to this game and play it all the time. It's okay to take breaks, and it's okay to not spend money on this game. It's something I had to remind myself to do recently as I personally started feeling burnt out. I was this close to quitting Idolon and quitting content creation before I realized that I could just take the game less seriously. That being said, it's rather disheartening to see the persistent members of my community disappear into the void because of the current state of the game. Now, before I talk further about Idolon's horrendous monetization, in my opinion, I wanted to specifically state that Idleon is a great game, and it's still worth playing. Simply the amount of content offered is incomparable to any other incremental game to my recollection. Notice how I say incremental and not idle, because I think it's false to say Idleon is an idle game. Recent updates really did help push early gamers and close the gap between early and end game. In this case, the definition being like mid-world 6. The gap between those endgamers and the true endgame of Idolon is much more massive and is a constant topic of debate, but regardless, Idolon has a lot of depth and is more accessible to newer players than ever. I applaud the development of the game. The World 1 and World 2 clickers as well as the Vault upgrades made this game so much easier to approach and reduced the learning curve of its various mechanics. However, this game still has its issues. Monetization and pay to win has been a constant issue in the game. There is an iceberg of depth here that I am glossing over because there is a precedence that makes me not want to talk about it at all. But it all started when the game was first made. Auto loot was a paid pack, was incredibly controversial when it first released, and it even has some resentment today. We've normalized the conversation around it as a, quote, trial period for Idolon, and me personally, I teeter on accepting that axiom myself. The argument makes sense to me, and I'm not combating it because it exists in a lot of free-to-play games around the world. Less than 2 years ago was the pet companion drama. Doot was, and still is, a big point of contention for the Idolon community. It represents an immense amount of player power that can require a large investment. The pet trading that was only recently added did help to reduce that issue, and I really like that update as it allowed the game to be more accessible to the free-to-play community. More and more people now have Doot, and realistically at no cost to them. It's a really good change. However, that doesn't change the fact that it's still heavily gated behind a terrible gacha system, and those with tradable pets are still not incentivized to trade with people who only have untradable pets. The only realistic access that free-to-play players have to those higher tier pets is insane luck, a generous person, or streamers giving away the pets. Putting aside pet companions, and even pet companions 2, the real issue I have with the game is the insane price tag on gems, and the amount of incessant monetization of powerful gem shop boosts hidden behind the limited time shop, the world, and oddities sections. The recent update with the introduction of the Wisdom Monument introduced rupee slugs, that provided a multiplier to rupee gain, or villager EXP for pre-Cavern 11. He also added 40 extra opals in the oddities tab. In addition to this, the update prior introduced a pack that has a 2.5x class EXP premium hat, and this recent update with the Wisdom Monument introduced a pet pack, a paid pack, not pet pack, to guarantee a tradable, dedicated ram pet, aka that's just storage from anywhere, 20 additional storage spaces, and a 1.5x damage multiplier for your account, and some gems and green gems. I'm sick of buying packs, and I'm sick of the constant monetization of Idolon, so I'm formally announcing that I'm just not going to be spending money on the game anymore, at all. I think the amount of player power hidden behind packs has approached disgusting levels of difference from the free-to-play community. If you want a more complete breakdown of the player power hidden behind packs and the amount of money required to purchase all of those packs, I will leave a link in the description to my Steam review that I left on March 21st, 2025. I personally cannot in good faith recommend a game to people that this much player power tied to monetization, and I certainly cannot continue to financially support a game that continues to employ more and more pay-to-win monetization tactics. With that being said, because I have a voice in the community and I like the amount of content currently in Idolon, I will continue to play it. I will continue to do account reviews, and I will continue making these types of videos because I'm hoping they don't fall on deaf ears and something is done about it. As a kind of last word, I do want to say that I don't necessarily fault the developer for making these choices. However, I think there are ways to monetize a free-to-play game that don't involve hundreds of dollars of packs that introduce game-changing player power stats. I mean, some cosmetic hats, armor, chat rings are nice. Some people would argue that I'm in no position to critique the developer simply because I don't have any game developer experience. I guess that's correct. However, I do have one thing. I have a brain. And I also have personal experience seeing how this topic affects people because you guys voice your opinions to me, and I read that. I read Discord every single day. I read my YouTube comments every single day. And I hear your voice and I want to share that. I also play the game. I do account reviews for people. I help guide people through the various mechanics of Idolon, so who better to discuss the topic of player power than the very person who helps people level up and get powerful. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I was inspired to make this video because some of the more prominent members of my community have decided to quit Idolon as a result of the developmental choices recently. The rushed caverns updates or the monetization, whatever it may be. Given that they have such an impact on the day-to-day of the Discord community that we have all made, I had to talk about it. Let me know what you think of the pay-to-win topic in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Main out. Hey there guys, it's Main here. I just wanted to say deeply thank you to everyone who does support me over on YouTube and or Twitch. It really does help motivate me to continue making more videos. If you would like to become a channel member just starting at $1 a month, please check the description below. Have a great day.